Howdy, y'all. This is Proverbs 25 in the ASV from March 25th, 2023. These are also the Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied out. It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the glory of kings is to search out a matter. As the heavens for height and the earth for depth, so the heart of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from the silver, and there cometh forth a vessel for the refiner. Take away the wicked from before a king, and his throne shall be established in righteousness. Put not thyself forward in the presence of the king, and stand not in the place of great men. For better is it that it be said unto thee, Come up hither, than that thou shouldest be put lower in the presence of the prince, whom thine eyes have seen. Go not forth hastily to strive, lest thou know not what to do in the end thereof, when thy neighbor hath put thee to shame. Debate thy cause with thy neighbor himself, and disclose not the secret of another, lest he that heareth it revileth thee, and thine infamy not turn away. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in a network of silver. As an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold, so is a wise reprover above an obedient ear. As the cold of snow in the time of harvest, so is a faithful messenger to them that send him, for he refresheth the soul of his masters. As clouds and wind without rain, so is he that boasteth himself of his gifts falsely. By long forbearing is a ruler persuaded, and a soft tongue breaketh the bone. Hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith and vomit it. Let thy foot be seldom in thy neighbor's house, lest he be weary of thee and hate thee. A man that beareth false witness against his neighbor is a maul, and a sword, and a sharp arrow. Confidence is an unfaithful man in time of doubt. Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of doubt is like a broken tooth and a foot out of joint. As one that taketh off a garment in cold weather, and is vinegar upon soda, so is he that singeth songs to a heavy heart. If thine enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he be thirsty, give him water to drink. For thou wilt heap coals of fire upon his head, and Jehovah will reward thee. The north wind bringeth forth rain, so doth a backbiting tongue and an angry countenance. It is better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than with a contentious woman in a wide house. As cold waters to a thirsty soul, so is good news from a far country. As a troubled fountain and a corrupted spring, so is a righteous man that giveth way before the wicked. It is not good to eat much honey, so for men to search out their own glory is grievous. He whose spirit is without restraint is like a city that is broken down and without walls. So, I guess let's start from the top instead of anything from there. This is how I feel faith and science relate, right here up at the top. It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the glory of kings is to search out a matter. You know, we're discovering things that are already there, and there's Solomon himself said it in Ecclesiastes, right? There's nothing new under the sun. So I don't think they're irreconcilable. I think it's always our understanding that's lacking and is mutable. I like the metaphor here about taking the impurities away, and that's true, man. That's what a message I've been getting about. Take away the weak links. You know what I mean? Take away the complainers. Take away the people who aren't going to change. Take away the people who are incompatible with you. You know, it's okay to love people who are fundamentally believing different things. Like, hey, I love you, but I can't mess with you. You know what I mean? When it comes to certain things. And that's what it says. You know, the king's kingdom will be established in righteousness if the things are removed. So the other thing is be humble. You know, there's something to be said for being confident. Confidence is knowing what you can accomplish. Arrogance is speaking for things that maybe you can't, or knowing that you can't. Bravado. But in this case, the same is true. Like, don't put yourself in an exalted place. Don't try to be with the cool kids. You know, better for them to call you and be like, hey, come on up here. You do great work, or we want to talk to you about this thing you're doing, or, we see you out there. Can you come talk to us? Then, hey, man, I know your face, but I don't really know you, but I got my buddy here and he needs your seat. Can you go back down? That's humiliating. You know what I mean? So Do your thing, grind in silence, and try to do well. And let other people sing your praises. Like another thing, another chapter of Proverbs says, don't let it be on your own mouth. So I don't know, something that I've just had on my heart that I'm thinking about. And it's kind of like the don't snitch verses, right? Don't reveal secrets of your neighbor. It's like that's not the way to win an argument, and that's not the way to win a case, and it's not the way to have a community or good relations. So try to go to people and try to solve it amongst yourselves and quietly, because not only is it not a good look, once people know, like, oh, you can't keep, that guy doesn't keep a secret. Well, he can't know, so he can't be part of the cool kids for sure, because can't trust them, I like a word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in a network of silver. Another translation says the apples of gold in a basket of silver. It's pleasing. It's like fundamentally pleasing when you share a wise word at the right time, or a fit joke. The hast thou found honey, I feel like it's the same thing as far as it's similar to money. You take only what you need, try to give the rest back, or here it's leave it. But in the other way, this is all God's money, and your tithe and your offerings kind of determine how much you get to keep of God's money, not the other way around. So don't take more than you need, because it won't be good in the end. It says you'll vomit it, or at the very least you'll have indigestion, and it will not sit well with you. So I think I covered last time around about heaping coals of fire upon their head, that the Jews, went into slavery in Egypt, and coming out of that, they had a lot of Egyptian references, things like that. So that was one practice, is they would put a pan on their head and essentially heap coals on their head as a burn, as an act of contrition. So hit there already, but better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than with a contentious woman in a wide house. Yeah. So find the right person, get along with that person, grow together, because life, there's another reel going around, and it's like advice from an 80-year-old. Even Henry Cavill was talking, and one of them is like, choose your spouse carefully, because 90% of your happiness or unhappiness will flow out of that one decision in your life. So the only other thing I really have here is, I can talk, for a long time, as anybody that happens to watch this realizes, but if your spirit's without restraint, it's a city broken down and without walls. Like, there's a couple of ways to look at this, right? So focus, like ADHD's trending again, and it's like, if you can't constrain your focus and your efforts, then your city's broken down. It's without walls, meaning like anything can come in and out of your attention and essentially rob you of your resources. And it's hard to increase and protect your wealth and resources, even mentally, metaphorically, when there's no walls. There's no way to compartmentalize. There's no way to safely isolate them. Yeah, that's what I got today. I could probably expand on that, but I don't want to overstep. Sorry about the half light. I'm trying to not squint even with my sunglasses on. It finally brightened up. The wind's been whipping today. It drove in a cold front, but spring has sprung for certain. So that's it. I'm going to go home, get on my network, and upload this and spend a little time in my garden before the sun sets instead of continuing to work. Although there's probably plenty of work to be done. There's always work to be done. Kids are only young once, and there's only one time for planting, so you can harvest later. So let me go see what I can get done. And on that note, be blessed.